So great to see you. Welcome back to Toronto. I hear you're here.
I am. I haven't actually been outside in Toronto yet, but soon, soon.
But as you see, the sun is shining for you,
I
my
know,
friend.
I know. This day has been a whole drama outside my window. It started off so beautiful, then there was like a little rain shower in the afternoon, and now it's beautiful again. So I'm looking forward to getting outside.
Well, good. Well, we won't keep you too long. But first of all, congratulations on your another amazing performance. And I say this with all heart and love, but boy, did you ever creep me out, my friend.
I will take that as the compliment it is intended to be.
Okay, I appreciate
Yeah,
it.
he's quite creepy, Mr. Dunch.
Yeah, I'd say. Okay, so we know that this is based on the podcast. First of all, well, based on real life, which is really scary. How was the podcast on your radar or anything before you even took this on?
No, I just missed all of this. I don't know. I missed it when it was in the news, and I missed the podcast when it came out, and so the conversation started clean slate, and Patrick McManus, the executive producer, sort of sent me the scripts, but what he said was, before you even read the scripts, just go listen to the podcast, and it'll give you the framework of the story. And I started the podcast with the intention of listening to one and sort of casually getting into it, and found that I guess I listened to them in 3 hour and 3 hour, but I basically ran through the whole thing because as you get deeper into this story, you just keep on. You need to know more. You have to get into the like, well, why? How the hell did this happen?
Exactly.
And so one, I just found it a really compelling story, and then two, obviously knowing that I was being asked to play the character, I was so fascinated by the man and how a person like that comes to be.
Well, exactly. I mean, we could go on for hours and hours about how he kept his license and all that kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, here you are playing this extremely flawed character. Now, we've seen you as some flawed characters before, but holy mackerel. I mean, this one takes the cake. Real. Okay, so how nervous were you about taking this one on? And did you find it like even more of a psychological challenge?
Yeah, I wasn't. I mean, I guess I was nervous in as much as it was something new and something I knew it was going to be difficult because he's a difficult guy.
Right.
But the psychological challenge is, yeah, very real. It was to get past my natural sense of ickiness around who he is or
Yes.
was or
Yeah.
is really, and to get past my own judgment of the things that he did, and to allow myself to try to see the world from his point of view was difficult. And there were certainly times when we were filming when his behavior is so awful
Yes.
and his lack of empathy and humanity is so awful that I certainly felt the weight of playing him in ways that I probably haven't felt with other characters. Because even as you said, I played some significantly flawed men over the years, but all of them were at least men trying to figure out how to be better. This guy was not trying to figure out how to be better.
So, what did you learn after playing him? Like, what in your own mind? How do you? Well, I don't want to say justify his actions because they're not justified, of course. But
Right.
like, was he just truly an egomaniac? Like, how would you describe it?
Yeah, I think he was an egomaniac. I think he made a very core error about himself. He is a very brilliant man. He's
Yeah.
an extremely smart man. And his genius was in a very particular avenue, as all genius is. And he assumed that that meant he was a brilliant man in every avenue. And so when he changed tracks from research to surgery,
Yeah.
he did not have the self awareness to examine whether or not he was actually any good at that. And because he already assumed that he was brilliant, anything that didn't add up to his brilliance had to be somebody else's fault.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so you add those things to um, an egomania that is ultimately about the fragility of his ego rather than the strength of his ego. Because, in my estimation, a strong ego could have taken a step back and had some self awareness, but because he built his entire sense of self around his own genius,
Mm,
he couldn't ever accept that he might not be that. And
right.
so he doubled and tripled and quadrupled down and was working inside of a system that was willing to flatter and inflate that ego. And then I think he, I don't know if he started as a sociopath, but I think he went down a path of sociopathy,
Yeah.
and his lack of empathy combined with all of the other flaws in his personality led to the horrendous outcomes that he had.
It's unbelievable story, really. So have you thought now, do you think twice about if you ever, God forbid, need surgery? I mean,
Oh
maybe
yeah,
it's
no,
for you.
I would do anything humanly possible to avoid surgery.
Uh,
I mean, for anything. I don't. I just feel like everything that's in your body is there for a reason, and unless there's a really compelling reason, just do everything else first and
yeah.
then get surgery.
Exactly. Okay, now we need to talk about the buddy team of Christian Slater and Alec Baldwin.
Yes,
Oh
indeed.
my God! First of all, it's sad that you don't have too much interaction with
I
them,
know. Tell me about it.
but I really think those two need like a buddy cop film or something.
100%. Like, first off, they're obviously like both people who have a couple of performances that are kind of foundational to
Yes.
to my education as an actor growing up. And who knew that these guys were going to be so brilliant together? But we were totally aware, even on set, where we're like, this has to be a show. You guys have to do this because you are brilliant together.
Yeah.
And you like, well, long after Doctor Death is done, we need to figure out some way where the two of you can play this comedy duo because you're fantastic, and it's such a joy to watch. It's if you're of a certain age and you grew up with these guys, it's such a joy to see them individually, but to see them together having that much fun playing off of each other is just fantastic.
Yeah, I have to wrap, but I do just very quickly want to ask you, congratulations, you're a new dad. You must
Thank
be,
you.
that's so exciting for you. We're very, very, as Canadians, very proud and happy for you. I have to ask you though, how is that now going to inform maybe roles that you might take or projects? Does that make a difference to you, Joshua?
I mean, from the there are probably certain characters that I would be less inclined to take now, but it's actually less about the content of the shows than it is about the time away. So
Sure.
there's obviously a very different consideration now about taking a job away from my family. Even coming up here for a couple of days, I miss them like crazy.
I'm sure. I'm sure. Well, I'm sure they miss you too. And don't worry, you'll be able to hug them real soon. But we're so thrilled to have you. Thrilled to have you leading this amazing series. Creepy as hell, but you're so good as you always are. And I have to tell you, The Affair, I was obsessed with that show. I always felt bad for Cole. He
I
needs
know,
his
poor
own
Cole.
show. Yeah, yeah, poor Cole.
Poor Cole.
We need his backstory. We need to give him something else. So
Yeah.
just my idea. But anyway, so thank you so much for your time today, and best of luck to you. Take care.
Thank you. Have a
Okay,
good
bye,
one.
Joshua. Take care.
Bye.